and this is automatic broadcasting, automatic content broadcasting, automatic RSS content broadcasting, and all kinds of other long tails. Matt DeCruz is here. Sue Bell is here. Jimmy Kelley is going to be arriving probably within the hour. We had a big webinar last night as well, and to me it feels like I'm back in the days when I was in the band and I'm going from town to town, and there's a webinar to webinar. It's kind of every day, but but it's okay, and I'm really enjoying this. Kevin Pauly has arrived as well, so he will be here as well, available, and looks like everybody's rolling in. Today we are on week 2 of the Tech Foundation or Certification Level 4, and this is going to be about keywords and links. This is really exciting. Over the last couple of weeks, we've given a huge amount of focus to these layers of the web ring, more so than we do normally, and that's one of the great things about doing all these training, because your questions put all these things in focus that we kind of do by rote, that we do mechanically and just have been doing for so long. So that's really, really great. Also, where there's new things that are getting developed as we build out and look at the questions and interact with all of you. Give me a 1 if you guys can hear myself and Sue and Matt. You should have heard Matt and Sue laugh and chime in. Matt, can you say something? Say hello, everyone.
Hey, guys.
So give us 1 if you can hear. Okay, good. Looks like we are. Now, I'm going to be manning the questions desk today.
Do you want to do the zero policy thing?
Oh yes, thank you, Sue. I've got to get myself some show notes from now on. There's so much to do here on these calls. Okay, zero tolerance for digital theft, put together by myself and Kevin Pauly. Do not share the information in our webinars. We keep this policy close at hand, and we do execute and follow through on these things, or shall we say, Kevin does and enjoys doing so, which is sort of twisted, but it's just a warning. We do this for your protection. This is for the care and concern that we have for this information. Over the last year or so, we've had a remarkable number of people worldwide interested in the integrative processes. Integration is the new web marketing, and that's what we've been doing for years. So all of a sudden we've gotten about 1,000 times more popular than we've ever been. That being said, that does not give you anybody the right to put this information out there on the web. We want to protect your information, and we want you to have exclusive access to the advanced certification training specifically, and of course everything as well. So just keep that in mind. We have to do that disclaimer every time to protect your interests. That being said, we're going to jump right in. I'm going to get out of the way. I will be on the help desk questions here. Just type in any questions you might have, and if for some reason Sue or Matt or Jimmy is unable to see these questions, I will kick it out there and try to address it. Thanks, guys. Let's just jump right in.
Excellent. All right. So a couple of things to cover today in theory, and then we're going to actually look at, roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty today. So, so first of all, give me a 1 if you guys got your homework done from last week, and you were supposed to. You guys who are excused from being in Tech Foundation 1, that's fine. You can sit back and just have another sip of your coffee. And give me a 2 if I get to get the whips out already.
Oh no.
He's not joking.
Try 1,
right.
Try 2.
A lot of 2s. Okay.
You were confused.
Silent 2. Confused by part 4. Mike Hayden.
Mike Hayden is in the room. Okay.
What was part 4? I'm sure you're giving me just a ration of excuses there.
Oh, yes,
right.
Yes.
If you seriously had a question about whatever the heck part 4 was, please let us know. It's sort of a long list.
The excuses here. Brian Hassler is codifying his excuses. You just insert, it's an iframe. Excuses, /
Copying Mike Hayden. Inserted him into his iframe.
Oh, well.
It's a dog fine.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I see. Well, Brian, I'm not going to say that out loud. All right. So, All right. So you guys are going to get a reprieve then. I'll be light on the homework this week and let everybody finish the homework from last week. But you got to have it by next week because next week we're starting the real deal. All right. So today we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about tracking your campaigns, and we're going to talk about link diversification. So we're going to start getting into how everything is set up between WR1 and WR2. So tracking the campaigns. Give me a 1, guys, if you guys have used UTM codes before and you know what they are. I won't bog you down if everybody knows what the heck they are, and a 2 if you've never seen them before and you don't know what they are. All right. Okay, so we've just got one person who doesn't know. I do have a bit of a discussion here about what it is, but just really briefly, UTM codes are variables, basically, that you can add to the end of your URL string. And then when it comes down to looking in analytics, you can see how stuff breaks out. So this is something that I do on the money site. As I'm creating, so let's say you're taking a blog post and you're putting it over on Storify. Then in Storify, when I link back to my blog post, I'm going to use these UTM codes. And some of the third-party platforms don't let you use a UTM code, but you can usually get around that by using something like Bitly. So then when you do that and you look at your analytics, because you got Google Analytics usually on your money site, except for the people who truly hate Google, you can take a look down here under acquisition and under campaigns, and you can see, I've got 2. So you can see how these campaigns break out, and then when you click down into one of these, the first UTM element, you'll see it break out even more. So banners rolls up. If your UTM name is banners, then it rolls up on the first screen, and when you click down into banners, you can see all the different kinds of banners, and you can see the specifics on exactly which banner is doing what. So all of these are one banner or are different banners on a particular WR2 site or on different WR2 sites. So you can see how they're all clicking, how all the traffic is coming. So this way you can see 2 different things. So for instance, with the banners on the PinVid sites, which is what this is an example of, we've got banners in 3 different places. We've got one at the very top, we've got one over on the side, and then we've got one underneath the video. And then we've got banners on each of the different WR2 sites. So by looking down through here, you can see exactly which banner is performing really well, which WR2 site is sending us a lot of money or a lot of traffic, which is, in essence is money, right? And exactly what the placement is on the page that people are clicking through to. So let me just blow this up a little bit and see what it was that I was looking at here. You get to see a lot of different information when you look at it this way. You can see the acquisition, obviously, where it came from, whether they were new users or not, and what the behavior was. In other words, what was the bounce rate, which this is exceptionally low. Pages, 3 pages, an average of 3 pages per session, how long they're actually on site. You get your overall average for all of the banners is 2 minutes. This one particular banner is minute 49 seconds. And then if you've got your goals in place, you can see whether or not they're actually converting. PWIC does have UTM tracking, Kevin. We're just kind of digging into that. Matt, did you have a chance to look too far into that yet?
Yeah, no, I've actually put the link there for people who want to see on Kevin's thing. I can share it publicly for everyone. I'll put it in the chat board. But the answer is yes. I've not seen any restrictions mentioned so far, but I'm busy reading through all their docs just to verify that. But from what I can see, yes, it does. It works with WordPress. It does UTM. There's plugins for like over 60 different CMS platforms. It's actually come a very far way.
Excellent. So as we get a little bit further into the course, we'll actually set up PWIC, and we'll be able to show you all those analytics and what it looks like there too. So, all right. So that's brief about UTM codes. So let's talk about how you can actually use your UTM codes. Now, obviously, I just mentioned, like, if you're going to go do stuff by hand, then you've got the opportunity to put your UTM codes in there. But what about the automated stuff? Like, what about where all your feeds are going? And so I just want to set up, because I'm not quite sure what he's got for these feeds, I'm just going to set up a new feed here. So we're going to use, in this course, we're going to use Network Empire News as our money site, just because we needed something that blogs fairly regularly and blah, blah, blah. So this became our de facto money site, even so it doesn't actually have a buy button on it. You'll just have to forgive us. So this is and oh, this is because you've got, this always looks so strange to me. All right. So that's all Yoast stuff. Here we go. Post to include, I want to include 10. I want the summary. I don't want to randomly include old posts. And I'm not going to add anything else to it. This is just generic. So I'll show you what happens here. What I would do is I would make a different feed, probably for each platform that I'm going to go to, because then in the name I can actually include what the feed is going to be. So let's just look at this for a second. I actually want to look at the source so that you can see the UTM codes. All right, so here, let me just pull this out and blow it up so we can really see what's going on. All right, so we've got the link, which comes back here to the blog post in question. We've got the source, which is TFC test feed, right? So you can imagine if I made this like G+ test, G+ feed, then that would come in as being my actual source, right? The medium is feed. That's just so that you know where it came from, one feed supercharger. Right, because there's no keywords actually specified in this. So that would be, I'd probably make a different feed that went out to each platform, although when you're looking in Google Analytics, there is a place. Oh, do I want to open up Google Analytics? Let me just open it on another screen and see if I can find back where that other thing was. Hang on. 2 shakes of a limb still. There is another place. It's actually down here under social. You can actually see where people are coming from. So if you don't split the feeds out, actually, so long as you make the feed through one feed supercharger, it's going to show up under campaigns because it's going to have the UTMs. But if you don't run the feed through one feed supercharger, if you just use your default blog feed and you push it through your social platforms, then it's going to all come here under social. And you're going to see like Google and Facebook and whatever places that Google tracks, which is a fair number of places. But all you'll really see is the fact that you got traffic in from those sites, and you can see where the landing pages go, what the landing pages are. Guys, give me a 1 if you're pretty familiar with Google Analytics, and 2 if you want me to go into that stuff a little bit deeper and show you what's going on. 1 if you're familiar, and 2 if you're deeper. Want me to go deeper?
Yeah, people want you to go.
Brian, you're just itching for me to get the whips out today.
Brian is telling you to go. I'm not going to. He's saying if they want to go deeper, they can go back to the earlier certification trainings. Brian said it, so I don't have to. No, that's okay. Do your homework. No, just kidding. No, it's okay. We can go a little bit.
All right.
Just messing with you guys. Yeah, Tech 2 is actually an incredibly good training. But this course is definitely standalone, so
Yeah.
it's got to be some.
Yeah.
We got to cover that. Yeah.
All right. So let me bring this over here. No. So if I come down here to social, I didn't actually look in social to see if there was anything here. I should have done that first. So this is showing you stuff, traffic coming in from G+ and Pinterest. And so if I click in here to Pinterest, which actually has something going on, then you can see that these are all the landing pages, and you can, here under secondary dimensions, you can have your, I want the landing page. Landing page. So you can see, oh, that was the landing page. Duh. Help if I actually read. Never mind. We're good. So you can see that all of the people that came in from Pinterest, 13 of them landed on this one page. So whatever that picture was, that drew a fair amount of clicks in Pinterest, right? So then what I do is I go and I take a look at what that image actually was, and I think more along those kinds of images. And it's not really. I don't know how long it's been since it's been posting to Pinterest. I don't know if it posts to Pinterest all the time, this particular site or not. So I can't really say too much. But in the last 30 days, that's not a lot of Pinterest traffic. All right. So that's how you can see that. Let's just go down to campaigns for a second. We got a bunch of campaigns on the site from a bunch of different R2 or WR2 places, and this is not actually the site that I had. Interesting. Behavior. Landing page. So this is how you can split it out. Your medium source on one particular site and one particular banner placement, and then put in landing page, and you can see where they came to. Now it's interesting to me, typically when you click on a banner, it always goes to the same place. So obviously, and we use shortcode UI, so obviously we've adjusted where those banners actually go to. All right. So that's tracking. Any questions on any of that? If you create a number of feeds from one feed supercharger and they are all the same, can these be seen? No. Feeds aren't counted as stoop content. So mostly because like slash feed or whatever this URL is, slash feed slash one feed equals, like, first of all, that's not going to show up in your sitemap. Feeds aren't a thing that tend to get indexed. So because the links don't actually point to this particular page, the links are going to point back to the actual blog posts. Maybe, David. Maybe. All right. So that's one feed supercharger. That's how I would set up your feeds on your money site, a different feed for each social media platform that you're going to go to, or whatever it is that you want to track. If you want to be able to track it in a separate channel, then you just create a new feed. You can create it with whatever parameters you want, obviously, for whatever purpose you want it to be, and then don't tell me I lost my connection. And then you're just good to go, right? Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a 1 if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure that it was the connection to the server that got lost. And all right, good.
I think you're good.
Okay, so excellent. So that is that topic. and then we've got diversifying links. For that, I have a handy-dandy little slideshow so that we don't go into instant overwhelm, because Russell, in his infinite patience, attempts to teach me not to display too many things on the screen at any one point in time, which I fail at miserably, but I try.
Yay.
All right, so can you do this thing next, Scripps? I don't think so. That's one of the reasons I wrote my own.
No, you can't. No.
All right, so here in my
No, I was
image,
just agreeing with you.
The money site. Now this is a This is a super simple version of the money site, right? You got your home page, you've got your silos. Obviously, you're going to have pages underneath these silos, but for the sake of not having too much space, I just ignored that fact. This one silo is what we're going to go into in depth, and I'm just going to say that it's got 3 supporting articles. Obviously, as you blog, you're going to be blogging about the stuff on your site, and as you blog about a particular concept, you're going to link back to that page. So over the course of time, you're going to have multiple links to all of your pages. And then this is an example of a WRT site. Again, super simplistic. There's going to be pages, supporting pages underneath each one of these silos, but for right now I'm ignoring that fact. We'll get into that next week. So right now we're just going to deal with the home page and the 3 silos. All right. So now we're going to talk about the feeds. So these are the feeds that we just set up in One Feed Supercharger. We're going to set up a different feed for each one of these platforms so that we can track them, and then you're going to go stick the feed into that appropriate place. And obviously, as you put, say, the feed into Pinterest, you can do that through even through dang, you know it's bad. You can't remember the names of your own plugins. Social Explosion, you can do that through Social Explosion if you want to. So as you do that, obviously, as it posts on Pinterest, those links are going to come back to your money blog because that's where the feed originated, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to take all of the feeds from all of these third-party platforms. Optionally, you can add in any non-competitive industry leader or Google Alerts, news feeds, or whatever you want. And you can bundle all of that into a single feed. We can filter this feed by silo keywords. So in other words, as you bring the feed in or as you create the feed, you can sort by silo keywords. And then each one of these we're going to post on one of our silo pages. So on our WRT site, the keyword DNA for silo number 1 is obviously going to be different from silo 2 and silo 3. So you're going to want to create feeds. You're going to want to filter them, create one feed from this massive feed where you've braided everything together. You're going to create one feed that's got the keyword DNA for silo 1. You're going to have another feed for the keyword DNA for silo 2, and another feed for the keyword DNA for silo 3. Give me a 1 if everybody followed that, and a 2 if I need to drink some more coffee. Right.
Yeah, they're on board. Brian likes the diagram.
Excellent. Thank you, because it took me days. Whew.
No, it just...
All right. And, okay. And then, obviously, once you've got the feed on silo 1, what it's going to do is this links back to the appropriate entries on your social media platforms. So you're going to want to think about how you create this feed, because if you've got the same blog post going out to, let me just think that all the way through before I say that, hang on. No, we should be good. We should be good. I was going to say if you've got the same, yeah, if you've got the same blog post going out to all of these different platforms, and you grab the feed from all of those different platforms and bring them in and display just one set of keyword DNA, you could get the same post multiple times on one silo because you get it once from G+, once from Tumblr, and once from Delicious. So you might want to just look at that. If you're automatically putting your feed out to a bunch of different platforms, like obviously if you've got some image platforms like Pinterest, you can pick that image up and bring it in and it should be fine. Because typically the images aren't going to be on things like G+ and Tumblr and Delicious. So you can pick the feed up from YouTube, you can pick the feed up from Pinterest, but then you might want to just grab either the G+, Tumblr, or the Delicious if you've got exactly the same content going to all three of those. So that's where, when you're creating your one feed back here on your money site, for each one of those different platforms, you might want to think about diversifying the content from there. Do you want just the content from your blog to go to each one of those social media platforms? Do you want to start integrating here some other content? So think about how you want to mix that up. This is unfortunately, until just recently, this was a very ugly diagram that I kept posted on the wall above my computer, and I had to keep it there because I had to think about exactly how the feeds were going to run so that I didn't end up with a mess on my WRT sites.
What?
All right, so we got some questions coming in.
Yes.
Yes, exactly, Mike. All right.
Mike, do you want to read that, or?
No, that's basically the thing that I just covered.
Okay. How exactly do you get that feed to display on the WR2 silos? Kurt's asking.
That's a great question. We'll cover that next.
Yeah. There's a few different ways to do that, including some in development. Joseph is asking, he finds the diagram very useful. Okay. To help remove some possible translation errors from, we're working a lot more, Joseph, on rapid visualization, which in that zone between the way you see the world and the way we see the world becoming more clear. We're doing everything in our power to make absolutely sure you guys have a crystal clear manifestation of what's going on inside of our heads. So this is all part of that. Rapid visualization is really awesome, and it's not as easy as we think. So I've been getting a lot of training to try to help you guys get that clear, and obviously Sue has really stepped things up several notches for all of us, requiring us to really clearly diagram our things out, right? But it can't be just art, like what I call dopa maps, those marketing maps that you shock and awe. It's got to be something you guys understand. So we're really working on making sure you understand that. Mike's asking, is there a way of mapping keywords in the URLs plus anchor text plus titles so we get the best bang for our buck without over-optimizing? Yes, there is.
That's a great question.
Yeah, Mike, that is the question actually, and
yes.
The power behind the whole team that we've integrated with these diagrams is that we have spent quite a lot of time over the years answering that very question, and which is really all tied to Sue's EPA keyword DNA. If you guys have ever found our Empire Keywords Wiki entry, it's a little secret entry. I'll go ahead and drop it in the group here. All of that is great. In other words, we have a way to provide all the keywords for the entire empire, regardless of the total search market value of the core theme within the entire WebRing network. However, the ability to syndicate automatically throughout the network without over-optimization, which is what Mike Hayden is really getting at, that required an integration of Jimmy and Sue's SEO stuff. In other words, making sure that the recent changes with over-optimization don't saturate automatically in a negative way and negatively impact your SEO. That's what this course is about. So hang on to your seats.
All right, so how to keep your sanity in an insane world. Trying to think of something here that I can actually demo. So the whole idea behind Network Empire Builder was to keep track of your keywords, right? So when you, so when you create an empire, that's the idea of an empire in Network Empire Builder. When you create an empire, you can specify whether it's a WR1 site, a WR2 site, a WR3 site, and you keep track of all of your keyword DNA for all of your layers for everything. So we actually use this. We actually build out our sites this way. Unfortunately, my account's kind of a demo account, and I don't have too many things built all the way out yet. But We've got them in, what we usually do when we take on a client or when we have a particular project, we make an account for that project so that the people working on that project can get in there and do it without messing up our personal accounts. So so everything that's network oriented are actually in different accounts and not mine, but you can get the general idea. So I set up my WR1 site in here. I've got my keywords from my blueprint in here, and then based off of that blueprint we create the blueprints for the WR2s and the WR3s. So for example, let me just think if I've got something that's actually got some keywords in here. Hang on a second. No, I suspect not. That would be humorous if the keywords in here. Yay! All right, so I've got a couple of different silos. So so you can see here I've got Internet Marketing Nashville, Online Marketing Nashville, this whole silo. Is that silo? No, there's that silo. So I take a look at that. I actually use my favorite screen, right? I'll actually just export this and have this in like a PDF sitting over on the side or spreadsheet or something. And I use this when I build out my WR2s. So like I'm going to pick these keywords up and they're going to become my silos for my Internet Marketing Nashville WR2 site. So this becomes a site and these become my silos. And then I've got keywords. I go into TLK2 the way that I showed last week and I get supporting keywords for each one of these. So if I've already got some supporting keywords down in here, then I'll use those, but I'll go grab some more because on the WR2 layer I want more keywords, right? Because I'm dominating the market, darn it. So so that's how I keep track of what my keyword DNA braid is, right? So then when I come over here and I'm doing, and you can bring your feed back in, right? You can grab your external feed off of, say, G+. I think I showed that last week, right? So you use something like Hootsuite to get your feed into Google, and then you use our G+ RSS to get the feed back out. So that I can throw that external feed into here, and I can say that I want to include 10 posts, and then I can specify what the keyword DNA braid is. So I can take my G+ RSS, I can take my YouTube feed, I can take my Pinterest feed, I can throw all those things together into one feed, and I can use that on my WR2 site. So I'll put in that keyword DNA braid for that particular silo, for the Digital Marketing Nashville silo on my WR2 site, along with a handful of keywords that I pulled out of TLKT, and that becomes my keyword DNA braid for that silo. Does that make sense? Because I know I probably needed another image in here. I can see that now. So give me a 1 if all that made sense, and a 2 if it's a little fuzzy. All right, we got a couple of 2s.
Not everybody gets that, yeah.
Let me try this again. All right.
But we'll be covering that as well in week 3, Sue, because they actually see us when we're on the site when it's built out. We can show them that as well. But
that's true. That is true.
It'll make more sense then, because then that whole image becomes real and they can see the different sites and how stuff's moving.
Yeah, I was actually going to try and put a little bit of that together today. So, so this is here in under week 2, under diversifying link destinations. So you guys have got a copy of that, the full-blown wall art thing, right? So you might want that up on a monitor as we walk through this so that you can see how this is going to work. So, so webdevelopment.co.uk is the thing that we're going to use for
the WR2.
For the WR2, exactly. So let me just go through this once, and I think that this will help make more sense. So The only problem is I don't have keyword DNA. So I'm just going to make some stuff up, and then we'll walk through it again next week with a keyword DNA that's a little bit more thought out and might make a little bit more sense, but we'll just give it a shot so that you guys are exposed to the whole process once. We don't have... Oh, homework for next week. You guys got to make a banner. So in addition to everything else, now you got to see, like, this is what happens when you don't keep up, all right? I'll put this in a homework page by the end of the course today. All right. All right. So, do we have? What we're going to use is RSS include, and I really like RSS include because it actually looks like content on your page. Did you validate if either one of those usernames I shot you earlier work?
The second one, Sue.
Excellent.
SNR is the one.
Yeah, perfect. Just gotta grab that back out of here.
Here's a good question there, Sue, from Jonathan. So are you looking for your keyword braid in your domain name for the WR2?
Typically not. I go a little bit tangent. That's a great question. I'll have Jimmy get into that as soon as he comes on board. So remind me.
Okay.
Let's create a new RSS feed widget thingy-dingy. All right, so there's a couple of different ones, and depending on what you want to do, they've got an absolutely beautiful YouTube one, so you can highlight your YouTube videos if you want to run those through a separate feed. We're just going to do a really simple one right now, and I'm going to take that feed that I just created, copy that bad boy, come over here, I'm going to drop this in here and add the feed. All right. So as you see, this way we've got our images and we've got the short description. And you can futz with the styling options. You can change the number of entries that you've got on here. You can change the way the articles are sorted. You can change the width of the box. You can change the maybe I have to use it different. I probably have to use a different style to get it to go left to right, which is actually what I prefer rather than
column.
Yeah, tower view, but that's okay. This will do for just a quickie. We'll show you the formatting and everything next week, and I'm sure you guys would want to play around with that anyway. Include to proceed. All right, so then it gives me this little bit of JavaScript. Oh.
WordPress, that's new.
We had to, well, let's try that. Because we had
That's very new.
Yeah, we had to jump through a hoop the last time we did this, which I'm just now remembering. Okay, self-hosted WordPress, you can install
You just download the widget.
widget. All right, let's try it. We'll see what happens.
Let's just copy that little code in the box because you need it for the widget.
I have it. Just trying to, is this our blog? No, that's our WR1. There we go. All right, plugins. So we're going to add a new plugin. upload the plugin, browse to my overflowing downloads folder.
All the secrets of the universe.
Wow, where did it go?
I think by type it's probably be a zip file.
Oh, there we go. Install.
Okay, let me set a password quick.
But, then I've got to like, I already got something in my thingy dingy. All right. Where are you?
It's this one, I think it's this here. I'm saying to Skype.
Okay.
Just try that quick, I'll check in I've got it saved.
Is it FTP or FTPS?
Just use FTP. Here's the proper password, yeah, sorry.
Oh. Oops. Oh, it worked.
Oh, no, essentially the right one, cool.
All right, so which way did it go? RSS include. Oh, it's going to be a sidebar widget. No, post. Yeah, RSS. I don't want it as a sidebar widget.
Let's go to appearances widgets. Yeah, I think that's probably for sidebar stuff. That's where you'll probably see that widget.
I don't want it on a sidebar.
Yeah, we can actually just show them both because that's a new feature.
I mean, if I wanted it on the sidebar, I could just put this over there.
Yeah.
Let's try that first. And my RSS. Oh. Wait. I don't just want an RSS. Hang on, never mind. Have I completely confused everybody now? Let's try the widget. All right. And the thing that I copied from RSS include a minute ago was that. And save. Visit site, open site in a new tab. There we go. So,
Is there?
look at the page source first. So obviously, we got to do something so that this is only going to show up in the right silo, blah, blah, blah. But that'll come in a minute. What's the source we're looking for? Certification level 1. All right. Yeah, this works great. Okay, so as you can see, this looks just like content from a Googlebot perspective, right? It's not seeing the standard, that's all style stuff, right? So it's not seeing like a feed. It's not, there's no indication here that this is actually a feed. It just looks like content with a link in it, which is what I'm looking for from this. I want contextual links back to my my social media. So, oh, that's interesting. So the rel is a nofollow. Where did the nofollow get included in there?
Could not come from a supercharger. What setting was set there?
Oh, that's just for the homepage. The actual link to the blog post itself is a do follow. All right, that's fine. So obviously this isn't from my Google, right? This should be my Google feed. I don't want on my WR2. I do not want a feed full of stuff going back to my money site on every single page, right? Because that's going to be horrible. So let's follow this all the way through, just so that you guys are completely clear. So I'm going to take this feed. I'm going to circumvent this just a little bit. Let me just go to Google Plus for a second. Projects. So just to be clear, I'm on my money site. I've got my feed. My feed went to Hootsuite, and it went to G+. Okay? And so now I'm here coming back off of G+. You got your site sent to no index, right, Matt? I'll check it in a second. I'm just looking for a feed that's got some stuff on it. Sorry. All right, so here's some stuff on it. I'm going to grab this feed. I'm going to throw that into my RSS box. Actually, I've got my G+. Before I throw it into my RSS box and throw it over here, I'm going to want to put it through a filter and filter out the keywords, right? So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to create a new feed. I'm going to call this, what's the name of this block? It's Web Dev. So I'm going to call it WR2 Web Dev. And then I'm going to put in, I don't want anything out of my main feed. All I want is out of my G+, host include, let's say 10, let's say 20, because then it's going to look through the top 20 for the keywords that I'm going to put in here. So I just need to go look at what the keywords are quick like a little bunny, just so that we get a few. Obviously, it's not going to be any keyword DNA, but let's just infrared, infrared, infrared. Dang, everything's got infrared in it. That's not what I want. Let's try cancer. Everything's got cancer in it, too. That's not helpful. All right, I'll just take cancer anyway. I'll put this back down to 10. Take cancer. And obviously I can put a braid in there. It doesn't have to just be one. I'm going to hit publish. All right, I'm going to grab, I know you published, there we go. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to come over here to RSS. I'm going to stick that in there. So now I've got from my G+ with only cancer in it, I'm going to add that feed. It's not going to be pretty because the feed went through Hootsuite, so there's not going to be any images. Oh, I'm going to delete the other feed. Yes, yes, yes. Go away. All right, not pretty. I want to save it. Where do I save it? Maybe that's all I got to do is save it. And then back here to wherever my site is. And if I rewind that, all right, so it's saved. So obviously, if this is going to be on a white background, I got to change the white text because it's just not showing up. So you can do all that fancy styling stuff in the styling options box over here. I believe, yeah, this is a long box. So you got font options and text colors and all that kind of cool stuff. So you can make it blend really nicely into your site to whatever it is that you want it to be. All right, so now the next question is, how do we make it show up on just the right silo? That's my next question anyway. Does anybody have any questions over what we've covered so far?
Okay.
Okay, and so, I know. Let me just, let me go back to a question that we had earlier. Let's look at this page source now. And if I look for TFC4 test feed, TFC4, oops, that's it, test feed, you can see that this is a link now to back to G+, and it's a defollow link back to G+. So we're going to have 4 or 5 of those on each page just simply because we haven't braided it. So you can see how if I braid 2 or 3 social media platforms in here, then I'm going to mix up those links on every page, and instead of having 4 or 5 links on every single page to G+, because over here, when I'm creating the feed, right, I can specify how many posts I want to include out of each feed. So I can just say 1 post out of this feed, 1 post out of that feed, 1 post out of this feed, and then I've got complete diversification on every single page on my WRT site. Does that make sense? All right, you guys didn't give me a 1, or oh, I didn't ask you a 1. Give me a 1 if everything I've set up to this point makes sense, and a 2 if anything is fuzzy. And actually, don't just give me a 2, but give me a 2 to start with, and then follow on with whatever the question is.
Mostly 1 so far. Let me just see. We seem to have a general. So far there are 0 2s. Is there anybody who has a question? And don't be afraid to, I won't use your first name.
I will.
Yes, you will. And that's what makes you you. Okay, no, there are no 2s at this point.
Okay, good.
If
So
there are, they're
too
afraid
scared.
to type it.
Right. All right, so the next question is, you know what? We don't have those plugins loaded.
Which plugins?
I'm trying to remember.
To do
plugins
what?
that we need to put different content on different silos.
You know, from the feed?
No, just it's shoot, it's a widget thingy. It's I'm gonna have to go find that. We're gonna have to demo that next week. Holy criminies. Gone from my little 3% is that name. Because there's 2 of them that you have to use in conjunction with each other, and you create. Gosh, I need to so rewrite that plugin.
We actually really do need to rewrite that.
Because that is the biggest pain that we have at this point. We've eliminated so many pains, but that one's still kind of like.
You're not talking. You're talking about coming from pulling content from a feed, or is that different that you're talking about?
No, so I've got the content, right? So I've got the content here.
Yeah.
Wait, where's my blog? I've got the content here, but right now it's on a sidebar that's going to be on every single page on my site.
Yeah.
And I want this sidebar to only be on 1 silo. So there's a couple of different things that you could do. All right, so let's start with it this way, because today, you'll notice
widgets to page, I think.
That's what it is. It's widgets to page.
Yeah.
So right now, what we're doing is we're just talking about the silos. Excuse me, the silo landing pages. And next week, we're going to get into the posts that come underneath the silos. So I've actually been completely relieved. There's a reason why I didn't step until 6 o'clock and only until 4. Okay, good.
That makes one of us.
All right, so so what I really want is I'm going to come in here. This is not going to be the way that we're actually going to set the silos up on your site. We're going to use probably vCraken to set them up, but I'm just going to do it this way today because it's a little bit easier. I want here, I don't care about that. You can just use, actually I want to use Simple Silo Builder. I don't want Video Silo Builder. So let me come down here to install plugins and just change that up. Because I think I saw that he had both of them in here. And if not, we will add it quick like a little bunny. Yep, it's here. Deactivate that bad boy. And reactivate Simple Silo Builder. Because we're just looking for silos and posts, and that's what Simple Silo Builder does. So very, very well. I want it into publish mode, and I'm just going to be really obvious about it. Silo 1, Silo 2, and Silo 3, just so that you guys can, just so that I can keep up, right? I'm trying to pretend like it's you guys, but it's just so that I know what I'm doing. All right, so now then, over here, back at the ranch, I'm going to come down here to widgets. Widgets. Come on, try to keep up, computer. And I don't actually want this on the sidebar, but I do want the code, which I've still got. All right, you're going to go bye-bye. And the other thing that I want back over here is JavaScript or PHP. I'm going to try it with JavaScript and see what happens. Otherwise, I'll just have widgets on pages and get it on the page. So one way or the other, we'll get there. And now I'm going to go to the pages that I just created, and we're going to put the cancer stuff on Silo 1. So what I'm hoping I bet I can't just throw JavaScript in. I definitely can't throw JavaScript in the visual editor. Am I in text? Maybe I am in text. All right. I don't think this is going to let me do that without some kind of JavaScript on page widget. Right? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, bingo. View the page source. Let me just make sure that it looks as good as the other one did. TFC. No. Silo 1, I'm on the right page. So this is probably what I don't like about the JavaScript. It doesn't actually show up as content on the page. That's why you gotta check. All right, let's go get widgets on pages. Actually, just gonna go to add new. Last updated 2 years ago. I really hate that. Untested on my version. Untested on my version. Untested on my version. Compatible. Anybody got one of these that they know and like? Otherwise, I'm just going to try this one. Since it's a script, it's not crawlable HTML. Exactly. That's why I don't like it. So I'm just going to come back. I'm going to try widgets on pages and just see if it works with this version. Oh yeah. Good. Good. All right. So now I got to remember how widgets on pages actually works. Let me just see if I throw it on the page. I think. I know I don't want this.
It's all the way down. There we go.
All right. Number of additional sidebars. I want one, because I've got one silo at the moment. Silo 1. Save changes. All right. And then I come to widgets, and it should have made a new silo 1. That's the thing that I just made. So I should be able to grab the RSS include, throw it over here, put thingy-dingy in here, hit the save button, and then I want to put this. I can't actually grab that. Isn't that just lame as all get out? It's not an image, but I can't grab it. I hate that. Alright, fine. Now I have to type. That's not even what I wanted to capture. Great. And I'm going to go to Pages, All Pages, Silo 1, edit this, and I want blah, blah, blah. That's my content, okay? It is unique. Don't give me shit, guys. All right, so that should be view page, open a new window. Oh, I already have it open. Bye. All right, blah, blah, blah. You could remove the little dot thingy there. I don't know if you saw that, but it popped up, and I thought for a minute maybe I wanted to do that, but I didn't do it. All right, so let's see if now TFC, ta-da! All right, we're back again. We've got it in here as real text, and it looks like text, and it's all good. Phew. Let me just show you where to take that off in case you use it this way. That was widgets on pages. Enable, remove bullets, save changes. And then I kind of think you have to come back here under widgets, maybe, and change the styling on it. I'm not 100% sure. No. So let's just see if that helped. Mr. Kelley on the call yet?
Let's have a look.
No, I don't think he is.
All right. Whips for him. Yep, that took away the bullet. So you can see where like having one that goes across rather than having a skyscraper one, like that works in really nicely. So what I tend to do is I'll put my article in here. Let's just go do that just to like be complete for a moment. Since this is supposed to be about cancer, let's pick something that's got some pretty pictures and yada yada. Just like maybe grab. I don't know what that's going to do. That's no, I don't want a slideshow. Can't somebody just give me something decent? Advertisement. Cancer Society, maybe. Don't make me think, people. Fine. No images, fine. Oh, there's a pretty image. Ah, this must be the new version of okay. It's just about as ugly as you can possibly get that. Is this the page for me? No, that's the oh. Uh-oh. All right. So you can see how if this went across the bottom, that it would look really pretty cool and reasonable. And you can think how that would look if it were videos as well. All right, so that's the basics. We're just over now. How are we doing? Everybody followed everything completely? Ish, ask?
Well, obviously we're covering just, you guys were covering the hardcore framework here. Obviously, those of you design, style sheet, this all comes later, right? Just want to make sure that you guys have the basic understanding of how these things work and some of the basic tools that we use.
Yeah.
And over
we'll
time.
Go into,
yeah, exactly.
We'll go into more detail next week. We'll flesh out the rest of the silo, and we'll come back around and actually do something that's a little bit more coherent. But I wanted to introduce you to the ideas and how it is that we get some stuff in here at this point.
Right, and we'll also cover how we pull the content off of the RSS feed using RSS to post and all these other things that we have as well. So it's pretty cool the way that it comes together.
RSS to post, actually, WR3.
Yeah, that's out in the WR. What week is that? I'm sorry, I'm a little lost on the schedule here.
Oh, that's
week 4?
6.
5. Oh, dang, I want to get to that part. That's what I like. Stealing content and using it against everybody. Okay, I didn't say that out loud, did I? God, I have to edit myself a lot lately.
Right?
Everything that we've ever told you. Okay, here's that.
Go ahead.
No, that's right. I'm going to mute myself. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I have to take this call.
Okay. All right, so you asked a great question earlier about domain names. Since Mr. Kelley has not come to answer that question and save me, I'll have to answer it myself. Dang it.
Can you use that pure and partial diverse filter we created too?
Yeah. So, anchor text deletion phrases. What the heck was that one? Oh, pretty much the same thing. All right.
Domain name finder.
Let's try that one. All right. So, if I were looking for back pain, I've got things like medical condition, medical research, health and nutrition. Health and nutrition might be just a bit broad, but you know. Herniated disc, spinal stenosis. Those will give you ideas, points of departure. Like if I'm headed for back pain, if that's like So what I'm looking at here is if this is the primary keyword, where is, if I'm back here again, right? So if my my keyword for the silo, if it were Internet Marketing Nashville, then that would be what I would be drilling into over here in the last keyword tool, and then using that filter to find a purely diverse way of expressing that concept. Exactly, pure diverse. So, so that way, because we're going to run some automated content through here, so I definitely don't want the keyword that I choose, I don't want it to be a match for any of the keywords in my keyword DNA braid. Otherwise, I could end up with the keyword in my URL string a couple of times, and when the auto content generates, it's going to put it in the header, it's going to be the name of the video, yada, 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 and then I'm just asking for penalty at that point, especially if I get, you know, several of them in one silo. So, yeah, absolutely. Brian makes a great point. If you're going to do, I forgot where it was that we came across the, oh, here, the locale. Do it minus the locale when you do the drill. So you would just do the drill for Internet Marketing and not Internet Marketing Nashville. Because obviously you're not going to get it. That would just be really interesting to get a pure diverse when you've got the locale in there. I mean, it would probably still work, but I would do it without anyway. All right. So you can do that drill in TLKT. Yeah, so you were supposed to come up with your keywords last time, and obviously most people didn't do their homework. So you get your homework cut out for you this week. You're going to do your keywords. You're going to do
a banner.
Yeah, you're going to do a banner. You're going to do everything you needed to do last week, and you're going to buy a domain. So make at least one buyer. Buy domain for WR2 if you don't already have one. And you're going to want to set up your WR2, set up the blog on WR2, so hosting and all that kind of good stuff. And you could put in the simple silo builder and you're going to want to make your feeds, make your social media feeds, and pipe through. Oh, you probably already have that because those are the WR1s. Never mind. You got your WR1 site. If you haven't already made social media accounts, and get the feeds, then you need to do that and pipe it through the one feed, supercharger, which we gave you access to in week number 1, and get your feeds ready to go for putting on the WRT site. All right. You know, on a WR2, I tend to not have Nashville in the name. And so Joseph asks if there's a problem with putting Nashville in each silo and the domain name. I wouldn't put it both places for dang sure.
Yeah.
I would just think about that for a second. I tend to not go niche specific on the WRT sites. I tend to make those a little bit more broad. I mean, actually, so if I've got local sites that I'm trying to rank for, I don't use a WR2 site, a WR2 rank for local. You can rank for almost any local term except for maybe the lawyer market with DAS and DAS in one feed, and that's really all we do for local. So you really only need WR2s and WR3s if you're going for medium to hard markets. Yeah.
Yeah, because guys, if you look at SASE, we've not built up WR2s because that industry or that market they're in, it doesn't require all that power. We just need to do the one feed and the dash stack, and we achieve what we want to do.
Yeah, especially in South Africa, criminals.
Yeah, no, it's fun, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you guys have your marching orders. Any questions on the homework assignment? Oh, we got a question from Brian. You're writing unique WR1 style quality page content. Yes, I didn't actually go over that, although it is in the image. So here, for your silo landing page and for your home page, I write quality content for those pages. You don't need too many WR2 sites, so it's not like a huge outlay in terms of money or time for that content, and I just find that those sites are going to rank better. So here's the thing. I put in the WR2 sites, they're meant to attract traffic and send that traffic to the WR1 site. So I really want, I want to make a quality site. I also want to make a quality site in case it gets reviewed for whatever reason, because I don't try to obfuscate the links, and so my competitors could attempt to turn me in. So so I want to make it something that's going to pass a manual review. So I do write quality content on those pages, and I make them look pretty. I spend a bit of time. But usually, like my outsourcing team, they go and they do their thing, and I come back around and I review them, and I'll either kick it back to them, or I'll go in and tweak it myself if I don't like something and it's simple and easy to do. So so I am picky and finicky, in particular about the WR2s. WR3s can be a little bit more, they're just a little bit more boring sites anyway, so they don't tend to be as pretty. I don't tend to have to put as much time into them. But again, we're not talking a whole lot of sites. Like, unless you're in a really stiff market, you don't need a whole lot of sites. All right, so Mike says the WR2s you're just going to have, for example, 4 pages with the widgets on each of the silos. That's all we've covered for today, and next week we'll get into the next layer. We're basically spending 2 weeks on the WR2 sites and 2 weeks on the WR3 sites. So next week we'll get into how to flesh out the stuff underneath silos.
Cool.
All right.
Anybody have any other questions? Oh, sorry, Sue, go ahead.
It's okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Kurt's got one. Wait,
okay.
I missed it. Do we need to treat WR2 sites like PBNs in terms of hiding ownership? You know, I hide the ownership just because I don't want it to be a big red flag, but and also because we'll get into some of those concepts in certification. There's some really cool stuff that you can go into more depth if you're like really tackling huge markets. So I do tend to buy the privacy when I buy the domain, but I don't worry about, I don't have analytics running on my WR2 sites, and so I don't tend to worry about IP addresses and that kind of stuff. All right. Did I miss any other questions? Geo modifier, Nashville, KBNs, qualifiers, unique content, and pages. All right. I think I've answered all the questions. Nobody else is typing anything in?
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Sue, and Matt for all this. It's great. And you guys have your homework assignments, and this is our first training course. As you know, this is a perpetual mastermind group, so tell your friends about it. And we are getting really kicked off. Can I get a real quick survey from you guys? How many of you guys are going to be at the live event? Just give me a 1 so that I can hear.
A good chunk of this room, actually.
Yeah. Okay, and all of your feedback is much appreciated. This is actually the first time you've ever tried to teach this digitally. Okay, And there was reasons why we didn't teach this digitally. So I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting us on that, and keep your questions coming as we clarify. We'll get all this information out of our heads and into yours. All right, thank you so much. Matt, you have anything to close us with, Matt DeCruz?
Yeah, guys, if you start looking at this, just focus on this diagram this week, and just get yourselves clear on the diversification of your links and how they move around, because that's going to impact the way you think about your EKDNA when you actually build it, when you're doing your WR1s, to build your WR2s. You've got to start thinking about the whole story. And this gives you a good start to start zooming out and looking at the whole picture of what's actually going on when you're building out your networks.
Exactly. And remember
That's
that,
what I'm about to say now.
yeah, and there's a lot of variables that you're dealing with all at once here. So if, for instance, you're not grokking every single aspect of this, just hold on a moment. The entire socially activated one web rank perpetual downstream domain authority stacking and traffic system, semantically integrated, of course, will eventually become second nature to you. I know that's hard to believe now, but it actually will. You'll be able to focus on everything all the time right now. It is possible, but it has to be done with symmetry and with training. All right, we'll see you guys on the next call, same bat time, same bat cave next week. Look forward to seeing you on the inside.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.